Have you ever noticed a loved one slowing down in ways that seem small? At first, a little less appetite, a little more fatigue, and wondered if it might mean something more serious. The truth is, for many older adults, the body often whispers warnings, months, even a year before life reaches its final stage. Most families miss these subtle signs until it's too late, realizing only afterward that the clues were there all along. That's why today I'm going to walk you through 5 common signals that often appear in the final year of an elderly person's life. These are not meant to frighten you, but to help you recognize changes early so you can provide better care, create meaningful memories, and make sure your loved one's final stage is filled with comfort, dignity, and peace. Before we dive in, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, where are you watching from and what time of day is it right now? I read every response and I look forward to yours. And if you find this video helpful, please subscribe. If not, go ahead and hit the like button anyway. It really helps us reach more people. Unintentional weight loss. You might notice something so ordinary that it barely catches your attention. At first, a favorite pair of jeans that suddenly feels looser, or a belt that now needs an extra hole to stay in place. At times, it looks like nothing more than part of the aging process. Yet, unintentional weight loss in older adults is often a quiet warning that the body is shifting in ways that deserve attention. Clothes don't just fit differently by chance. They often signal changes in how the body absorbs nutrients and maintains muscle strength. As we grow older, digestion can slow down, and the ability to break down and absorb protein becomes less efficient. The result is a gradual loss of muscle mass, which makes everyday tasks like standing up from a chair, climbing the front porch steps, or carrying groceries from the car feel harder than before. For some chronic conditions such as heart failure, kidney disease, or even early cancer, may play a role silently pulling energy and weight away. Appetite also changes with age. Food doesn't taste as flavorful, the sense of smell weakens, and meals no longer spark the same enjoyment, leading to skipped dinners or smaller portions that provide too little fuel for the body. The impact is more than what you see in the mirror. Loss of weight without trying can weaken the immune system, leaving a person vulnerable to repeated colds or infections that linger longer than expected. It reduces muscle strength, raising the risk of falls that could result in broken bones or long hospital stays. The emotional toll is just as heavy. Many older adults quietly worry that their independence is slipping away, and family members often feel pressure to fix the problem by insisting on bigger meals or rich desserts. Yet forcing food rarely works and sometimes causes discomfort or frustration. What helps most is shifting the focus from quantity to comfort and nourishment. Instead of 3 large meals that feel overwhelming, try offering smaller, more frequent options that are easy to chew and enjoy: warm soups, mashed sweet potatoes, or even a protein shake that feels more like a treat than a task. Keep hydration in mind as well, because even mild dehydration can worsen fatigue and loss of appetite. Sometimes a glass of water with a slice of lemon or a favorite herbal tea makes more difference than another heavy plate of food. For families, it's important to see weight loss not as a failure to eat enough, but as the body's way of signaling that it is slowing down. Compassion matters more than calories. Sitting together at the table, sharing a simple bowl of oatmeal or sipping soup side by side often nourishes the spirit as much as the body. If you or someone you love is experiencing unexpected weight loss, take it seriously, but also approach it with patience and care. Remember, this change is not just about appearance, it is about health strength in the quiet message the body is sending. By listening closely and responding with understanding, you can still bring comfort, dignity, and even hope into everyday life. Extreme fatigue and weakness. There is a difference between feeling a little tired after a busy day and experiencing a deep exhaustion that lingers no matter how much you rest. Many older adults describe it as if their entire body feels drained, not just their muscles, but their spirit too. This kind of fatigue is not laziness or lack of willpower. It is often the body's way of signaling that its systems are slowing down. Medically, fatigue at this stage can be traced to organs working less efficiently. The heart may no longer pump as strongly, which reduces circulation and leaves the muscles undersupplied with oxygen. At the same time, metabolism slows, meaning the body produces less energy from the same foods it once processed easily. When both of these changes occur together, even simple tasks begin to feel monumental. For many seniors, everyday activities that once felt routine, walking 10 feet across the living room, climbing a few stairs to the bedroom, or even standing long enough to cook a small meal become difficult. The body needs more naps during the day, longer periods of rest and recovery time after any effort. Hobbies that once brought joy, such as gardening, attending church gatherings, or playing cards with friends, may fall away simply because the energy is no longer there. The emotional impact of this fatigue can be just as heavy as the physical. Losing the ability to do simple things independently often brings frustration, sadness, and even embarrassment. Many older adults quietly withdraw from social events, not because they don't care, but because they don't want to feel like a burden or admit how exhausted they really are. This quiet retreat can deepen feelings of isolation and create a sense of losing connection with the world around them. Families often struggle with how to respond. The instinct may be to encourage more activity, push for walks, or suggest joining community events again. Yet in these moments, what the person needs most is acceptance and understanding. Supporting an older loved one means recognizing their limits, not ignoring them. Instead of long outings, create peaceful moments at home. Short visits, quiet conversations, and time spent simply sitting together can mean more than any big activity. Allow for breaks and rest without guilt. For caregivers, the experience can be bittersweet. Watching someone you love shift from being active and independent to tired and withdrawn is painful. It may even feel like you're losing them piece by piece. But understanding that fatigue is a natural sign of the body conserving energy can ease some of that burden. It is not a failure of effort, it is a stage of life. There is still hope in these moments. By adjusting routines, honoring rest, and focusing on comfort instead of performance, you can help your loved one preserve dignity and peace. Fatigue and weakness may be part of aging, but compassion and presence ensure that life remains meaningful even when energy is fading. Cognitive decline and withdrawal. It often begins with something so small that families brush it off at first, a misplaced set of keys, repeating the same story twice in one afternoon, or struggling to follow a simple conversation. Over time, these moments become harder to ignore. The person who once remembered birthdays, enjoyed long talks at the dinner table, or read the newspaper cover to cover may start to lose track of time, place, and familiar routines. The underlying reason is often related to reduced circulation. As the body ages and the heart pumps less efficiently, the brain receives less oxygen and fewer nutrients. This lack of steady supply can cause memory lapses, confusion, and disorientation. While the symptoms can look similar to dementia, the difference is that in the final year of life, these changes often progress more rapidly, leaving families surprised by how quickly someone's clarity can fade. The emotional side of cognitive decline is just as important to recognize. A loved one may gradually withdraw from family gatherings, not because they don't love being there, but because keeping up with conversations feels overwhelming. Hobbies that once defined their daily routine, whether it was tending a garden, following sports on television, or doing a crossword puzzle, may suddenly hold no interest. Mood shifts can also appear unexpectedly. Someone may become irritable and easily frustrated, or on the other hand, unusually calm and detached, as if nothing really matters anymore. For families, this stage can be painful and confusing. The instinct is often to pull the person back, to push them into conversations, or to remind them to pay attention. Yet these efforts can leave both sides feeling frustrated. Instead, the most meaningful support comes from meeting them where they are. Use a gentle tone when speaking. Maintain eye contact even if words no longer flow easily. A simple touch on the hand or a smile can communicate love when language begins to fail. Practical steps can also make a difference. Old photographs, familiar songs, or treasured family stories often spark recognition, even when memory seems to slip away. For example, playing a favorite hymn during Sunday breakfast might bring comfort, or showing pictures from a wedding album may stir a smile when nothing else does. These small actions remind both the elder and the family that connections remain even as clarity fades. Perhaps the most important lesson is that even when words are forgotten, love is not. A person experiencing cognitive decline can still feel presence, warmth, and reassurance. Families who slow down, offer patience, and focus on simple shared moments can ease the fear that often comes with confusion. Cognitive decline is never easy to face, but it is not the end of connection. By shifting expectations, leaning on compassion, and embracing what remains, families can still create moments of peace and closeness. Even as the mind drifts, the heart continues to recognize kindness, and that truth offers both comfort and hope. Frequent infections and slow healing. One of the clearest signs that an older body is slowing down is a weakened ability to fight off illness or repair itself. You may notice that something as minor as a small cut on the arm seems to take weeks to heal, or that a routine cold lingers far longer than expected. What used to be a simple infection in youth, easily treated and quickly forgotten, can now return again and again, often leaving the person weaker each time. The science behind this is simple yet sobering. As circulation decreases and organs begin to lose efficiency, the immune system no longer sends strong defenses where they are needed. Less blood flow means fewer oxygen and nutrients reach tissues, slowing healing and leaving the body more open to bacteria and viruses. That is why pneumonia, urinary tract infections, and skin sores show up repeatedly in many older adults during their final year. Bed sores, especially for those who spend more time resting, can develop quickly and are often painful and difficult to manage. Families often assume these are just seasonal illnesses, something that happens every winter during flu season. But in reality, for elderly individuals, repeated infections are major signals that the body's strength is fading. What makes it more difficult is that the signs don't always look like what we expect. Instead of a high fever, a senior might simply appear more tired than usual, lose interest in eating, or become suddenly confused. These subtle symptoms are easy to miss, yet they often mark the beginning of another infection. Caring for a loved one in this stage requires a shift in mindset. The focus is less on trying to cure every infection and more on bringing comfort and dignity. Antibiotics may not work as effectively as they once did, and stronger treatments can sometimes cause more side effects than relief. What often matters more is simple, consistent care, keeping the body hydrated, ensuring good oral hygiene, protecting the skin with gentle lotions, and creating a clean environment that eases stress on the immune system. For caregivers, this adjustment is not always easy. It can feel like giving up when medicine no longer seems to provide answers. Yet choosing comfort over constant treatment is not about surrender. It is about recognizing what truly improves quality of life. Sitting with your loved one, offering a favorite soup, keeping their lips moist with water, or helping them feel clean and cared for may mean more than another hospital visit. Frequent infections and slow healing remind us that the body is signaling its limits. While this reality can be painful to face, it also offers a chance to shift the focus from fear to presence. With patience, small daily acts of care and compassion, families can provide peace during a vulnerable time. Even when strength is fading, love, comfort, and human connection remain powerful sources of healing in their own way. Breathing and circulation changes. One of the most noticeable shifts in the final stage of life comes through changes in breathing and circulation, and these signs often appear gradually before they become more obvious. You may hear your loved one's breathing turn irregular, sometimes deep and fast, other times slow with pauses in between, a pattern doctors call Cheney-Stokes. At first it may be subtle, but over time it becomes a steady rhythm that families quickly recognize as different from ordinary sleep or rest. The skin also begins to tell a story. Hands, feet, and even the tip of the nose may feel cool to the touch, sometimes showing a pale or bluish tint. This happens because the heart is no longer pumping as strongly, and the body prioritizes blood flow to vital organs like the brain and lungs. Circulation to the arms and legs becomes weaker, leaving extremities cold while energy is reserved for life's most essential functions. Breathing itself can grow harder even during simple tasks, such as sitting in a chair or speaking a few sentences. Shortness of breath may appear suddenly, leaving the person winded from minimal effort. You might notice them propping themselves up with pillows or preferring to sleep in a recliner because lying flat makes the lungs feel heavy. In some cases, fluid begins to build inside the lungs, creating a gurgling sound or a persistent cough that can be unsettling for families to hear. Supporting a loved one through these changes is less about fixing the problem and more about easing discomfort. Keeping the room cool and well ventilated helps the body breathe with less effort. A small humidifier can add moisture to the air, easing dryness and irritation. Offering small sips of water prevents dehydration, which can make breathing even harder, while gentle repositioning, raising the head, shifting the shoulders, or adjusting pillows can provide quick relief. Equally important is the emotional environment. Calm reassurance, soft music, and the steady presence of a hand held in silence can soothe the distress that comes with struggling for breath. Many older adults worry about scaring their families when their breathing changes, so offering quiet comfort without panic makes an enormous difference. This is a time when your presence speaks louder than words, signaling safety and peace, even in the face of decline. These signs remind us that the body is gradually winding down, focusing its remaining energy on the most essential tasks. While it can be frightening to witness, it also gives families the chance to shift from worry to presence, offering comfort instead of intervention. When you respond with gentleness, you remind your loved one that they are not alone, and that even in this vulnerable stage, dignity and love remain intact. Emotional and family impact. When a loved one begins showing signs that life may be nearing its final stage, the emotional weight can be overwhelming long before the actual loss occurs. Caregivers often describe feeling as though they are grieving in advance, mourning the gradual changes they see each day, while still trying to provide love and support. This anticipatory grief is both confusing and exhausting because it blends sorrow with responsibility, and it often leaves family members feeling torn between wanting more time and preparing for goodbye. The physical demands of caregiving add another layer of stress. Lifting, repositioning, helping with bathing, or managing medications can be exhausting, especially when combined with sleepless nights and constant worry. Many spouses in their 70s or 80s care for partners of the same age, meaning their own health is often strained in the process. Adult children may juggle full-time jobs, raising families of their own, and long drives to check on their aging parents. The burden is real, and yet many caregivers hesitate to ask for help, believing it is their duty to shoulder everything alone. This is where hospice and palliative care play such an important role in the United States. Hospice is not about giving up. It is about shifting the focus from cure to comfort, ensuring that the final stage of life is lived with dignity and as little suffering as possible. Palliative care provides medical support that addresses pain, shortness of breath, or anxiety, while also guiding families through the emotional landscape of this transition. In many communities, hospice teams visit homes regularly, offering not only skilled nurses, but also social workers, chaplains, and volunteers who help the family feel less isolated. Culturally, home hospice has become a meaningful option for many American families. Rather than spending the last months in a sterile hospital environment, loved ones are cared for at home surrounded by familiar rooms, family photos, and the daily rhythms that bring comfort. Families often describe how this choice allowed them to share meals together, sit on the porch during a sunny afternoon, or listen to favorite music in the living room, moments that would have been impossible in a medical ward. Home hospice blends professional medical oversight with the warmth of family life, creating an atmosphere where both patient and caregiver feel supported. Still, the emotional challenges remain. Watching decline unfold day by day is painful, and the sense of helplessness can be overwhelming. This is why open conversation is so important. Families who talk honestly about what is happening often find that the burden feels lighter. Sharing fears, hopes, and even small frustrations helps everyone feel less alone. For some, these talks open the door to forgiveness, allowing old conflicts to be resolved, and important words to finally be spoken. "I'm sorry, I forgive you," or simply "I love you," become gifts exchanged in the final months that bring peace to both sides. Cherishing memories is another vital piece of this journey. Looking through photo albums, recording family stories, or simply reminiscing about childhood vacations can transform moments of sadness into opportunities for connection. Even when a loved one cannot participate fully in conversation, hearing familiar names or places often sparks recognition and comfort. Many families in America make memory boxes, filling them with small objects that tell the story of a life well lived, a wedding ring, a baseball ticket, or a church bulletin, tucked away for decades. These simple reminders affirm that a life mattered and that love continues even as health fades. For caregivers, self-care is not selfish. It is necessary. Taking breaks, accepting help from friends or hospice volunteers, and making time for sleep or a walk outside can renew strength and patience. Without these small acts of preservation, the weight of caregiving can lead to burnout, resentment, or even health problems of the caregiver themselves. Communities often have support groups both in person and online, where caregivers share experiences and advice, reminding one another that it is okay to ask for help. Ultimately, the emotional and family impact of end-of-life care is profound, but it can also be meaningful. By embracing hospice support, speaking openly, cherishing memories, and caring for themselves, as well as their loved one, families can navigate this season with greater peace. The journey may be heavy, but it is also an opportunity to honor a life, to strengthen bonds, and to create moments of grace that will be remembered long after. Even in the shadow of decline, love remains powerful, and with compassion, families can face this chapter, not with despair, but with courage and hope. As we come to the close of this conversation, it is worth taking a step back and remembering the 5 key signs we have explored together. First, there is unintentional weight loss, a quiet but powerful message that the body is no longer processing nutrients in the same way. Second, we see extreme fatigue and weakness when even simple activities begin to feel like mountains that cannot be climbed. Third, cognitive decline and withdrawal reveal themselves not only through memory lapses and confusion, but also through the quiet retreat from family gatherings and favorite pastimes. Fourth, frequent infections and slow healing make it clear that the immune system is struggling to keep up. Finally, noticeable changes in breathing and circulation remind us that the body is directing its limited energy toward the most vital organs. Recognizing these signs is not about living in fear. It is about preparing with wisdom, compassion, and awareness so that families can provide care with dignity rather than panic. Knowledge offers the chance to be present, to plan ahead, and to fill the time that remains with peace instead of uncertainty. When we notice these changes early, we are not powerless. We are empowered to act with patience and understanding. The heart of this message is simple focus, less on fighting what cannot be stopped, and more on cherishing what can still be shared. Dignity matters. Comfort matters. Most of all, meaningful time matters. Whether that means sitting quietly together, listening to a favorite song, or sharing a gentle smile, these moments create memories that outlast the decline of the body. If you found this conversation helpful, I encourage you to leave a comment below and share one thing you learned. Tell us how it resonates with your own experience, or simply type the word hope to remind others that they are not walking this road alone. And if you believe this message can help another family, please subscribe, share this video, and let the circle of compassion grow wider. I want to leave you with a picture to carry in your mind. Imagine a calm evening, the sun setting, slowly painting the sky with soft orange and gold. On the front porch, family members sit together in rocking chairs, sipping iced tea, sharing gentle laughter, and telling stories from long ago. In that simple moment, nothing needs to be fixed, nothing needs to be forced. There is only presence, love, and the quiet comfort of being together. That image, more than anything else, is what end-of-life care is truly about.